Well, just getting packed up for another little adventure. We're going to a place where there's 14 river crossings and there's a heap of waterfalls, but we're going to go and check that out. But I've got to get packed up now so I can hit the road.
G'day, my name's Jamie Hazelden and I've been travelling this great country for many years, and what I want to share with you is the great places that I've been to and the places that you can only imagine of getting to. I want to show you and introduce to you some of the colourful characters, sit round a campfire and reminisce and talk about the journey and the places that we're going to go to. So come along with me as I share this journey with you. Making our way down close to the Queensland-New South Wales border, I love seeing the lay of the land with all the roaming cattle, and look how green it still is.
Well, today we're going to poke our heads into a little town called Killarney. So let's say we're southwest of Bushmans. Now, this little town back in the 1850s was put on the map because of the cedar. That's where they used to cut the timber. And I thought it might have been just cattle and stuff like that. But then they brought a train line in here in the 1880s, and then the town really got going. And there's the old Killarney Co-op and Dairy. It's a beautiful town, it really is. Well, we've just been around Killarney. We've had a bit of a check out of the place. It's pretty cool. It's pretty busy though. So now we're going to go and hit the Condamine tracks. I've done it many years ago again. There's this track, I think it's a loop, but it's about 20 kilometres. And what we're going to do is water crossings, and there's about 14 of them. So we'll see what it's like today, see how interesting it is. So this is the Condamine River track, or known as 14 river crossings. And here is our first crossing. Now, we're probably going to go through a few tips on water crossings, because I mean this track would be absolutely brilliant for anyone beginning, you know, before they get going to the Victorian High Country or just doing water crossings in general. Now this place does flood and they do shut it off, so you can't actually come down here and drive these tracks. But we're going to go and just take on the track and just have a bit of a chat in general about these water crossings along the way. Let's see what the next one brings. Now, to take the trip out here, it's about 3 hours from Bushmans, so Landsborough to Killarney. Now we're coming to a bit of a deeper river crossing right here. Nothing too much, but you know, one thing you don't want to do is actually just come bolting straight up to it and then hit the water. Just crawl yourself across. I mean, we can see into the water, we can see it's not deep or anything like that, and just idle your way across, nice and steady. Now, good little tip, when you're going out of the water, now I'm just about out about now, just get all four wheels out. Now I'm going to stop there. Now by stopping there, I'm actually dropping off all the drips of water, so I'm not wetting the rest of the track for, say, if I've got a convoy of people behind me, so that they don't have to go slip and sliding up here. And then that way I can just idle up, all the water's been dropped back there and it's gone back into the water. And at the same time it preserves the tracks so it doesn't get rutted out. There's something to be aware of when you're on the Condamine track is it's got a speed limit, and that is 30 kilometres an hour. Because it's all private property all the way through it and around it of different owners, and they've set the speed limit as 30 kilometres an hour. And the one thing you want to be is courteous to others. And like all things, you know, when you're on a dirt road like this, I mean, you might be only doing 30 kilometres an hour, but be mindful and maybe run your headlights if you feel that you need to, because it gets quite dark in here in different spots because of the tree coverage. Now think about this, if you're in Victorian high country or something like that, you'll come off some really, really steep hills. And the problem you have with that sort of thing is your brakes are really hot. And the last thing you want to do is enter that water, because it'll just be, you know, if they're really, really red hot, they're going to buckle. And that's the last thing you need. So you just pull up, let them cool down if you know they're hot, and then enter the water. Nice rocky base again. And that's the great part about this area, is we don't have to get out and walk it, because we can actually see into the water nice and clearly to drive across. Continue over. So going into water crossings, now this is why they do water bras. Now the water bra is for when you're going on the deeper crossings. So it actually channels the water away from the motor, and especially the fan, because if you got your fan on and it's spinning, it can just snap the blades off. Now I can tell you that from experience, because it actually done that to me. I was down in Kosciuszko National Park, and I went across a crossing too fast, and I didn't have the water bra on. I sheared all the blades off, and it wasn't a good thing, that's for sure, but it happens. It does happen. But having a water bra on, it just protects everything. Now, there's a number of other ways. Make sure you always turn your air conditioning off when crossing, because that's still making those thermofans still go. So you could do the same thing to them. So you need to be always mindful on the depth of the water you're crossing. Another important thing is when you're doing water crossings, and if you're doing a lot of them, and whether they're shallow, deep, it doesn't matter. That's the whole idea of why you have a snorkel. So snorkel's for depth, so that the water can't get sucked in to your normal airbox, because a lot of the time you just have it where the water can just come straight in there, and it's all over for you then. Where the snorkel puts it up a lot higher and makes it a lot easier for you to go across depth of water. As you can see on a lot of snorkels, they're always above your roof line or up to the roof line. Not that you really want to go that deep, but that's how it goes. There's some absolutely beautiful scenery down here, and I mean, looking at some of these creeks just along here, well, the Condamine River I should say, is absolutely gorgeous. Just the whole scenery of the place, it's just amazing, beautiful. Alright, well, we're finally at the end of the water crossings, the 14 of them. Now, I get asked a bit, do I need to select four-wheel drive when I'm doing a water crossing? Well, my opinion, and that's my opinion, I say yes, put it in four-wheel drive, because if you're on slippery moss, the last thing you want to be doing is falling away to the sides and not being able to get traction and then getting stuck in the middle. So, therefore, you know, you can do it. If you think you're going to go across slowly, put it in low range. If you think you're going to go across, you know, at a reasonable pace without going mad, well, put it in high range, but put it in four-wheel drive, and then that way you've got the best of both worlds to be safe. We're really hugging the river now quite nicely. It's pretty cool. Very rocky terrain down there. But the interesting part is, The Condamine River actually runs into the Murray-Darling, and that is another journey that I want to take you on when we do the Darling River run, and then I'll tell you a story along there. What you got to look for when you're walking along these tracks, because there's no signs or anything like that, is these little red markers, and you can probably see the edge of that. And on the other side of that tree, I guess there's another one, because that's how it's been all the way along, is one on this tree, one on the next tree. So that's all you got to look for on your way there and on your way back. Pretty cool. Oh, wow, that is awesome. Wow, that's crazy. How epic is that? I've never been here before. This is Brown Falls. Now we're going to do 3 or 4 different waterfalls while we're in the area, just to show it off, but I never even knew that it really existed. Now it's a bit of a goat track to get in here, but well worth it. That's 14 meters high, that one. Pretty awesome. That's Browns Falls. Now we're going to look for Dags Falls. Well, that's pretty awesome. We can't get down to this one, but this is Dags Falls. And the next one is the queen of them all, Queen Mary's Falls. So that's where we're heading now, so see you there. How good is that? Now that stands around 40 metres high. What a great way to finish the afternoon. You know, the great part about that is if you can't walk all the way to the bottom like we just have, there's a couple of peering areas just up on the top on both sides where you can actually have a good look at the waterfall from up top. Or you can take the long way down and come and have a look from down here. But how awesome is that? And the track itself, it's got bitumen nearly all the way through. It's not too bad at all. It's a good little walk. What an epic day we've had. We've crossed 14 river crossings, we've been to 3 unbelievable waterfalls, and now we're at Carr's Lookout. Well, now it's time to end the day, go and set up camp, finish the night off around the campfire. So make sure you follow us on our next episode, where I head to WA and catch up with my good mate Jeff from Seriously Series, and we head to some remote areas to find some lost history of the WA outback.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.